Well, children, here we see that the narrator got a shocking news, the death of his elder Gessler brother. Let's see the next. And he touched the top of his head, where the head had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of his death. Do you want any boots? Narrators realized that there was less hair on his head, and narrator supposed that it was because of the death of the elder Gessler brother. Then the younger Gessler brother asked him for the boots, and he held up the leather in his hand. It's a beautiful piece. I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London. So, narrator ordered many pairs of the boots. As you know, this is long lasting. Their life is so long, but narrator ordered so many pairs, and after that he went abroad, and he came back to London after a year. And when he came back, he first went to visit the old Gessler brothers. At the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60, and I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn. Who genuinely this time did not at first know me, and when he came back and went to visit Mr. Gessler, he found he was looking as the man of 75 years old, but actually he was 61 year old. But due to the struggle, due to the troubles, he became as a man. He was looking as a man of the 75 years old, looking tired. One means tired. And at first he did not recognize the narrator. Do you want any boots? He said. I can make them quickly. It's a slack dime. I answered, please, I want boots all around, every kind. At first he didn't recognize the narrator, and he asked that if he needed any boots, and he also remarked that he could make the boots very quickly, because at that time customers would, could not wait for a long time. And he also added that it was a black time for them. Black time means dark time, the time full of sadness, full of sufferings. Then again narrator ordered so many boots. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. One by one I tried them in shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather. They were the best he had ever made. I flew downstairs, wrote a check and posted it at once with my own hand. So one evening he received the boots. He checked the fitting, the quality and finishing of that boots, and he also make a check and sent to the Gessler's brother. Let's see the next page. After a week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. But when he came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. After a week later, he was just passing through the street, so he thought to go into the shop and pay thanks to the Mr. Gessler, younger Gessler, for the boots that were very fine and fantastic. But when he went there, what he saw, there was no name of the Gessler brothers, and not their shop was there. I went in a very much disturbed. In the shop there was a young man with an English face, and when he went inside the shop, he found there was a young man who was attending the customers, and he was looking an Englishman. Mr. Gessler in? I said. No, sir. He said, no, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. Yes, yes, I said, but Mr. Jessler, oh, he answered, dead. Dead? But I only received these boots from him the last Wednesday. When the narrator insisted and asked about the Mr. Jessler, the young Englishman said that the Jessler had died. Hearing this news, he got shocked and he was surprised that the last Wednesday he had received these boots from the Jessler brother. Ah, he said, poor old man is starved himself. Slow starvation, the doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way, would keep the shop on, wouldn't have a soul touch his boot except himself. Then he remarked that the man had died with a slow starvation. He was suffering so much, he had no work, so whatever the money he had, he spent all the money to keep his shop running instead of taking food or living in a good way. So he spent all his money on the shop. And he was the man that he didn't allow anyone to touch the boat except himself, whatever he made on order. It took him such a time, people won't wait. He lost everything, and there's he did sit, going on and on. I will say that for him, not a man in London made a better boot. Further, he remarked that there was no man in London that can made the boots better than Mr. Jessler. He was very honest and loyal man. But look at the competition. He never advertised what have the best leather too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with his ideas? Then he says that it is the time full of competition. In spite of getting the best boot, the best quality boot, he had not made any advertisement. That's why he lost everything, and at last he died due to the starvation. But starvation, that may be a bit flowery, as the saying is, but I know myself, he was sitting over his boots day and night, to the very last. You see, I used to watch him, never gave him time to eat, never had a penny in the house. All went in rent and leather. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Yes, I said he made good boots. So children, here we know that the Mr. Jessler spent all his money on making the shoes, on giving the rents, and on running the shop. But he didn't eat, or he had no money to spend on himself. That's why gradually, day by day, he was dying, and at last he died forever. But he made the good boots. Okay children, now your explanation is over and this chapter is also finished. Now in the next video we will discuss the exercises. Thank you so much.